Welcome to the Austin, Texas Living channel. I'm Tiffany Moore. I'm a local realtor and broker right here in Austin, Texas. In this video, we're going to talk about the jobs that pay the highest salaries in Austin and Austin's 5 biggest employers. So if you're relocating here and you're looking for opportunity, work, growth, all that stuff, this is going to be a great video for you. As I mentioned, I'm a local realtor and broker right here in Austin, Texas. I help people from all over the world relocate to Austin. So if that sounds like you, check out my contact info below. You can jot it down, call me, text me, whatever is comfortable for you. Any way you want to get in touch with me, I've got your back for all things when you're moving to Austin, Texas. Here is one disclaimer for this information. The median salary information I'm going to share is straight out of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The last time they published this was in March of 2022, and it was based on 2021 data. So this is the most current data that's been published. It's just not exactly 100% up to the minute. So just wanted to share that information. So here are the top 5 highest paying salaries in Austin. We're going to start with number 5, then we're going to go up to number 1. Number 5 is chief executives. So on average, now remember averages, some people are above, some people are below. So it's just going to give you a general range. On average, chief executives make $134 an hour, which comes to about $280,000 a year. Number 4 is general internal medicine physicians. They make about $139 an hour and about $280 a year. Third is general pediatricians, so not any kind of specialists. They are making about $143 an hour and about $298 a year. Second is psychiatrists. They make about $146 an hour, which comes to about $304 a year. And the number 1 highest paying salary in Austin, Texas is obstetricians and gynecologists. So they are making about $180 an hour, which comes to about $375 a year. So overall, 4 of the 5 highest paying salaries in Austin are in the medical field. 2 of them have to do with kids. So we're delivering babies and then we're taking care of babies. There's a lot of kids here. There's a lot of kids in Austin. And then the second highest paying one is psychiatrists. So I don't know, maybe there is a correlation between all the kids that are here in Austin and the need for mental health treatment. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting. And as we get further into the top 5 employers in Austin, we're going to see more of a correlation between the prevalence of the healthcare and the medical industry and the Austin industry and community in general. But what I thought was really interesting is that, like we talked about, 4 of the 5 top highest salaries in Austin are in the medical field, not the tech field and not the financial field. So we know that there's so much tech growth going on in Austin, Texas. Businesses are popping up every day. Companies are moving here. They're expanding here. We had a little bit of a slowdown towards the end of 2022, but it's already kind of started to pick back up. My business has picked up. A lot of other agents that I've talked to are seeing a little bit more activity, even so far into 2023. So I think that the interest rate sticker shock has kind of gone away. Interest rates have gone down a little bit. People are kind of adjusting to maybe this is the new normal. But I kind of expected to see some of the positions in the financial industry and the tech industry in those top 5 for the highest salaries in Austin. I was a little bit surprised that they weren't in there and that instead most of the highest salaries were in the medical field. Who knew doctors got paid so much? I guess your mom was right. You should have just been a doctor. So I did want to check out where some of those financial and tech positions ranked as far as highest salaries in Austin. So we're going to check those out real quick. So number 10 on the list is financial managers. They make about $78 an hour and about $162 a year. Number 11, and the rest of the ones that we're going to check out are going to be positions that are in what you consider the tech industry. So number 11 is computer and information systems managers. They're making about $76 an hour, which comes to about $160 a year. Number 38 is computer hardware engineers, making about $60 an hour, which comes to about $124 a year. Number 42 is computer network architects, making about $59 an hour, $122 a year. And number 53 is software developers. And I feel like the majority of the people that I know who are in the tech industry are software developers. And it kind of surprised me that their salary is ranked number 53 at about $54 an hour at $112 a year. Not to say that like this salary is low or anything to sneeze at. Just when we know of all the startups and everything going on with the tech industry, it was surprising to me that, the top 5 were in the medical field and not in the tech industry. So as we see in Austin's top 5 employers, we're going to have more of a correlation with jobs and salaries and the medical industry and all those things. So top 5 employers in Austin. Now this information is pretty recent. This is from November of 2022. It was reported by the Austin Business Journal, and it's self-reported by these companies. So these companies are reporting their own employee count. No one is double checking. So, whatever you want to say about that. But the information is very recent, was reported in November of 2022. So again, we're going to go from the 5th largest all the way up to the number 1 largest. So the 5th largest employer in Austin is St. David's Healthcare. And this is a hospital and healthcare company. They are one of the major employers in Austin. Austin has been compared to San Francisco in a lot of ways. We have seen massive movements in the housing industry and the real estate industry. Nowhere near as crazy as San Francisco yet, but it kind of feels like Austin is trending in that position. There's a lot of tech businesses out here. People are moving here. It was very affordable, and it's kind of growing in the other direction. But it's all relative, depending on if you're moving out here from California, New York, or Seattle, it's very affordable. If you're moving out here from Arkansas or Cincinnati, not quite so much. So we are seeing a lot of similarities between Austin and San Francisco. And another one that I think is that we'll continue to see trending is this connection with the medical industry. So when my husband, we went to San Francisco a couple years ago for a wedding, and we talked to a really cool couple at a restaurant. And they were basically saying everyone in San Francisco either works in tech or in the medical industry. And if not, then you're just probably not making a whole lot of money in San Francisco, which doesn't sound like much fun out in California. And it kind of seems like Austin is trending in that direction. So we know we have a lot of tech companies that are coming out here that are growing and adding to their employee base. And now we're seeing that we've got some of the top employers in Austin are in the medical field, and 4 of the 5 highest salaries in Austin are in the medical field. So it seems like we're correlating and trending with San Francisco in more ways than one. And I thought that was just something to note. So St. David's Healthcare has 10,854 employees in Austin, and they were established in Austin in 1996. The 4th largest employer in Austin, this one kind of surprised me, is Amazon. So Amazon has some corporate offices here at the Domain, but the majority of their employees are for the warehouse and the distribution side of Amazon. So love it or hate it, Amazon is a way of life. I order from Amazon all the time, and there's always an option of like, hey, do you want your package later this afternoon or tomorrow? And it's just been that way forever because I've lived in Austin forever. My parents came out and my mom's like, oh, really? They're going to deliver this afternoon? I'm like, yeah, there's a warehouse right down the street. And I forget that like not every city has an Amazon warehouse that's right down the street. So Amazon is huge out here. And, we've heard of all the residential development that's going on in Austin, but there's also a ton of commercial development. And downtown and in the Domain, some of that is high rises and office buildings and things like that. But in the suburbs and outside of those areas, most of the commercial development is warehouse and industrial for places like Amazon and other e-commerce businesses that are housed out of Austin because it's pretty centrally located in the US and are shipping things out there. So I think we're going to see more employees in Amazon as the company grows and as we have more commercial and warehouse development in the Austin area. So I thought that was really interesting. Not what I expected for Amazon to be the 4th largest employer in Austin, but here it is. So they have 11,000 employees just in Austin, and they were established in Austin in 2015. 3rd largest employer is Ascension, Texas. They are a hospital and healthcare company, and they have a lot of different locations throughout the Austin area. So kind of like we were just talking about, 3 of the 5 largest employers in Austin are in the healthcare industry. 4 of the 5 highest paying jobs in Austin are in the healthcare industry. So there seem to be a lot of benefits for being in the healthcare industry. You have a high paying salary and there are a lot of jobs available. So if you're not already in this field, it may be something that you want to check out. So Ascension, Texas has 12,086 employees in Austin, and they were established in 1902. That's when they first put their footprint in Austin, Texas. Before Willie even got here. Before we even had cars here. Probably when South Congress was just like a dirt road and people were driving their horse and buggies up to the Capitol to like talk to their congressmen and everything. That's crazy to me that this company was established here in 1902, is still going strong, and it's the third largest employer in Austin. Number 2 is Dell Technologies. So do you remember the commercial from the 90s, I think it was, where the kid was like, "Oh, dude, you're getting a Dell." It's the same Dell. Dell is a staple in our community. They do so much for charity, for philanthropy, for kids. They're basically building the new Dell Children's Hospital. It's really awesome to just have them in the community, and they're so big to have them giving back as much as they do. So the Dell office is like right off of 45 in Round Rock. It's right in the middle of the city. You can't miss it. You see it every time you drive at 35 and 45 at the intersection there. It's really cool that they're such a big staple in Austin. I didn't know that they were the second largest employer in town, so that's really interesting too. So they have 13,000 employees in Austin, and they were established here in 1984. So here we are. The number 1 largest employee in Austin, Texas is H-E-B. H-E-B is our grocery store. It is one of the nation's largest independently owned food retailers. So there is literally an H-E-B every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. Like, you can't turn a corner without seeing H-E-B. If I leave my house, I can turn right and get to one H-E-B in 3 minutes, and I can go straight and get to another H-E-B in 4 minutes. They are literally everywhere. And even though we're having all this development with all the new construction going on, H-E-B is like right behind those communities. One of my favorite communities up north is Santa Rita Ranch. It's in the Liberty Hill, Georgetown area. They just built a massive H-E-B there that is going to service that whole community. And this is really exciting. Later this month, they are opening the first 2-story H-E-B ever. It's going to be on Lake Austin Boulevard, and it's going to be massive. And when I share these details with you, it kind of makes me think that this H-E-B is competing a little bit with Whole Foods. If you've ever been to the Whole Foods flagship store on 5th and Lamar, it's massive. There's tons of places to eat, but the coolest thing is they have parking underneath. So they have a parking garage underneath the store, and they have elevators and escalators to get you from the parking garage up into the store. They have this really cool, basically like conveyor belt. It's just like a flat ramp escalator where you just like stand there with your cart, and it brings you up to the top of the store where you can do your shopping and everything. That's what this new H-E-B is going to have. So this new H-E-B is going to be 97,000 square feet. It's going to have a barbecue restaurant, a pizza restaurant, a coffee shop that's going to sell breakfast tacos. And they're also going to have the same departments that all the other H-E-Bs have, like pharmacy and a curbside area. Here's a side note, like H-E-B changed my life when they started with curbside and delivery. So I've always done my grocery shopping. My husband and I cook a lot, so we are always at the grocery store. And it ended up being like a really big stressor in my life. Like I would always come home just flustered about being at the grocery store. And during COVID, they started doing curbside and delivery. And I would still go because I'm like, I'm going to pick out my zucchini and I want to pick out my own bananas, make sure they're not giving me any bruised bananas. But one day I did curbside because I could not handle going into the store. And it was awesome. They picked out the best bananas for me and the best zucchini for me. And so that changed my life. And then I started thinking like, well, what if I don't really even want to drive to the store? Like, they deliver groceries, let's try that. And so I started getting groceries delivered, and that has just been like a huge time saver, stress saver. Like it's made such a big difference in my life, and it sounds so silly, but it's huge and it's amazing. And I love that H-E-B offers that. So I'm super excited that they are literally the number 1 employer in Austin. They continue to expand and they continue to support our community during all the hard times. Whenever something is going on, H-E-B is always there to support us, and they have our back. So H-E-B has 20,749 employees in Austin, and they were established in 1938. So also, here's a pro tip. It's called H-E-B. It's not called Heb. So if you say Heb, everyone's going to know that you're a foreigner and that you're not from here. This is one of the things that we talk about on our calls when people call me and they want to move to Austin, they're thinking about moving there, or they, just have some general questions. I talk about the culture here, I talk about the community, and I make sure that you look like you've been here before when you actually step foot in Austin. So there are so many things in Austin that are spelled one way and they're said another. I want to make sure that you don't look like a foreigner, that you look like you've actually been here before when you do come here. So some of those businesses surprised me that they were the top 5 employers in Austin. Here are some other common businesses that you're going to recognize. Number 6 on the list was Walmart. So I really didn't expect to see this one so high up on the list, but I guess we do love our Walmarts here. So Walmart has 7,800 employees in Austin, and they've been here since 1979. Number 7 is Apple, and I kind of expected to see Apple higher up on the list than number 7 with all the expansion that they've had so far, and I expect to see Apple higher up on the list in the next few years. So if you didn't know, Apple just built a brand new campus pretty much a mile from their old one. That brand new campus is right across the street from my house, so I'm very familiar with all the development that's going on there. In early January, they announced they were expanding even more on that same property. And then in late January, they announced they're expanding even more. And one of the newest developments from the announcement they made in late January is that they're going to have a massive 1-story building, which to me sounds like that might be a manufacturing facility. I don't know why else you would just take up so much land and just build 1 story. But I expect that we're going to see many, many more employees at the new Apple campus, including some who may be part of the manufacturing side. So I'm super excited about that. I think in the coming years, we'll see Apple move from number 7 to maybe number 6 or number 5, as far as being one of the biggest employers in Austin. And number 11 is Tesla. Oh, Tesla. They reported to have 5,000 employees in Austin, and they were established here in 2021. A lot of people that I help move out here are connected to Tesla in some way. They either work there directly or they work for a supplier or some other kind of adjacent company. So Tesla is very much embedded in the community and the population in Austin. It has been going through some tough times. So they just announced that they're going through another round of layoffs and of hiring freezes. And they had just resumed hiring after having freezes and layoffs earlier in 2022. So we know that 2022 was pretty tumultuous for Elon Musk and for Tesla, and with the Twitter takeover and everything. Hopefully they can kind of rein things in and get them back under control, because Tesla is a really big part of our community here, and obviously we want to see it continue to thrive. I'm sure that it will. I don't think anything's happening with Tesla, but it's something to keep an eye on. So right now they're ranked number 11 on the largest employers in Austin with about 5,000 employees. So you are going to need a job if you plan to come to Austin and take out a loan to buy a house. And this is one of the things that we'll talk about on our call, that we're going to make sure that you're all set. When you move down here, you've got all of your ducks in a row, you know what to expect. My contact info is right here. If you want to jot it down, call me, text me, whatever is comfortable for you to get in touch with me, and I will answer all your questions and make sure that you're taken care of when you're moving out to Austin.